All right, for the next story of the day. Now, as we talk about Mount Rushmores, as we talk about rankings, Complex released a list of the top 50 best rappers from Atlanta of all time. It's called the 50 best Atlanta rappers of all time. 50 best Atlanta rappers of all time. Rappers, right? Rappers. I know there's a distinction between rappers and MCs in a lot of contexts, but we're talking about rappers, right? And really interesting list. Definitely generated a lot of discussion around this list. But let's take a look through. Coming in at number 50, Lil Nas X. I don't even really think of him as a rapper. I'll be honest. I don't. I don't think of him as a rapper at all. I mean, that's why I made such a point to point out the distinction on rappers on this list. I don't think of Lil Nas X as a rapper. He raps sometimes. He raps a lot. A lot of times he's not rapping at all. I know he came up doing his mixtapes that were more trappy mixtapes. Like I mentioned in the previous segment, I've worked in country music and with Willie Jones, right? It was a black country artist named Willie Jones. And at that point in time, like we signed Willie Jones before Lil Nas X came out. But Lil Nas X came out like maybe 6 months later. And there was a huge controversy in country because Lil Nas X wasn't of country music. He had a country song. They ended up having to put Billy Ray Cyrus on it to really get buy-in from the country community. But I think of him as a pop star. I don't think of him as a rapper at all. Nevertheless, he's number 50. 49, Pee Wee Longway. I think he's underrated. Maybe he's appropriately ranked here, but he can legitimately rap. 49. Sci-Hi the Prince at 48. Now, this is where I looked at this list and I said 48. Now, when they're putting this list together, I'm sure they're thinking about overall movements. Sales has got to be a big part of this. Whatever. But Sci-Hi the Prince is factually one of the greatest rappers and MCs of the time he's been out, regardless of who we're talking about. Like he is that talented as a lyricist, as an MC. I think his solo career has paled in comparison to the work that he's done with Good Music and Kanye, but this is straight up disrespect. Sci-Hi the Prince at 48. I know we're going to see some lyrically challenged rappers coming up here pretty soon. Which makes me, again, looking at Lil Nas X at 50 and Sci-Hi at 48, they're considering a lot more than how talented someone is on the microphones. But Sci-Hi the Prince at 48, wrong. Trouble, 47. Rich the Kid, 46. K-Camp, shout out to K-Camp, man. He was a cool cat. 45. Lil Scrappy at 44. B.O.B. 43. OJ the Juice Man. See, this is what I'm saying. 42 OJ the Juice Man over Sci-Hi the Prince. Okay. I remember that when they first dropped, there was that funny cartoon that had OJ and Juice Man, Gucci, some of the people in it. He was like, I eat red crayons because the red ones taste the best. Yeah, but he had a number one song he's had a song on the Billboard charts, I guess. You know what I mean? But this is what I'm saying, right? So this is movements, I guess. This is popularity list. 42, Roscoe Dash, 41. Sean Paul, 40. Cool Breeze, shout out to Cool Breeze. Someone mentioned the other day that Cool Breeze is the first little baby. I never made that connection before, but Cool Breeze is part of Dungeon Family. Watch for the Hook was a crazy, crazy song back in the day. I just never thought about him as the first little baby. 39, Cool Breeze, I'm not mad at that. Young Nudie, 38. Rich Homie Quan, 37. Fabo, 36. Diamond from Crime Mob, 35. Bankroll Fresh, 34. Childish Gambino, 33. Childish Gambino, 33. And probably appropriately rated. I don't know. Actually, I don't know now. They got Lil Nas X at 50. Gambino should be much higher. You know, if they got Sci-Hi at 48, Gambino needs to be much higher. If you got Lil Nas X at 50, because he I wouldn't describe him as a lyrical monster. When he dropped his diss track, Toshinoya at Drake, I was like, I don't know, Gambino wants it with Drake to be straight up. But he's made a bunch of really dope raps. Camp is a dope project. Um, and then everything else around him. You know what I'm saying? Like he made a lot of great non-rap songs. He's an artist all the way around. 33 feels kind of low to me. Let's see where this list goes. 32, Big Gip, legend. 31, Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Pastor Troy, number 30. Young Joe, 29. I don't think people remember how good of a rapper Young Dro really is. Like Young Dro has bars on bars on bars. He was super colorful. You know what I mean? Like he had the now and later style, I felt like. And on that first Double XL freshman cover, it's called Leaders of the New School, he was one of the only other lyricists on that list with like Lupe Fiasco and Papoose and Psy Guy. He's one of the only other lyricists, who I call lyricists, on that list who didn't get shelved. Like it's like him and Lupe were like the only lyricists who didn't get shelved. Young Dro can rap. 28, Soulja Boy. Gotta be success based. Gotta be success based. He's influential, incredibly influential. You know, he's the guy who broke the YouTube code in the beginning. First rapper to leverage YouTube to blow up. Drake is stealing intros to his songs. Super influential. I wouldn't describe him as a good rapper, but he's super influential. 27, Jid, way too low. Way too low. JID is bananas. He's legitimately bananas. Forever Story, love that album. What he just did on that Eminem album, love that. I think he has a real shot to actually move up to the next level and move into a globally recognized artist. Super talented, dumb focused, way too low. 26, MC Shy D. 25, Lotto. See, JID got to be over Lotto. I'm not mad at Lotto number 25 either, to be honest. She can rap. I really like the way Lotto raps. Of the 3 tracks that Drake just put out, I like her verse better than everything else on all the other tracks. I just like her style. I like her flow. I do not think she should be ahead of JID. But again, this feels more like movement stuff. This feels more like, you know, what's your wave talking about? 24, Lil Yachty. Get out of here. Yachty needs to be down there with OJ the Juice Man, and both of them need to be behind Sci the Prince. Now, Yachty is a talented artist, but rapper, come on, man. Yachty's got the best walkout I've ever seen, that recorded walkout viral video. Amazing. Rapper, Yachty's 24. Yachty's overachieving. So big shout out to Yachty for overachieving. 23, Waka Flocka Fame. Super influential. Would I describe him as a better rapper than JID? I would not. But you got to respect Waka and everything he brought to the game. 22, Shawty Low. 21, Kilo Ali. 20, Gunna. 19, Takeoff, rest in peace. 18, Lil Jon. Little John? That's what I'm saying. What are we calling this? Is this a rapper's list at all? Little John as a rapper? Little John? Movement, Crunk, Wave, Hype Man, DJ, yes. Rapper, 18. Come on, man. 17, Jermaine Dupri, same thing. I'd be surprised if Jermaine Dupri was writing any of his verses, you know, to be honest. I mean, no disrespect to him. He's made some of the biggest songs ever that have ever come out of Atlanta. And he's put on incredible artists, you know, platinum selling acts. I don't think of him as a rapper either, but Jermaine Dupri. 16, CeeLo Green. I would say this feels low, but now we're getting into the hardcore crux of Atlanta artists. This feels low to me. I honestly feel like CeeLo Green should get more. He's a lot closer to Andre to me than I think people give him credit for, especially on the singing front, the creativity front. And CeeLo has bars. But CeeLo Green, number 16. Quavo, 15. See, I would have CeeLo over Quavo. I'd have CeeLo over Quavo. No disrespect. Killer Mike, 14. I think this is too low. I think this is too low. You know, Killer Mike to me should be top 10 or very close, like or 11 or 12. If this was a rapper's list. 13, Offset. I get it. Playboy Cardi. I think he is a terrible rapper. I don't think of him as a rapper. I think of him as a rage artist. I think he is part of this wave. He's super influential. I'm not taking anything from him, but Playboy Cardi isn't. He's not somebody who's gonna. I don't know, man. I don't know. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I just don't think of him as a talented rapper or talented lyricist at all. And that's what I think about when I think about this title that they put on this list. I think Killer Mike should be here, but maybe that's just me. 11, 21 Savage. I get it. Lil Baby 10. See, I feel like 21 Savage should be over Little Baby, to be honest, because 21 Savage to me is more consistent. I'm not mad at either artist, by the way. I went to a Little Baby show in Greenville. Like his live show is way better than I expected. I like his energy. I like his attitude. I think his documentary is crazy. I think he's got hits, and I do think he could rap. I just think that 21 Savage has proven to be more consistent than Little Baby has been. 2 Chainz. See, Killer Mike should be over 2 Chainz to me. Now, 2 Chainz, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. 2 Chainz is probably appropriately placed in this list. He's right around 9 to 12 to me, but I think Killer Mike is up there with him as well. Big Boy 8. This was a big topic of discussion. People felt like Big Boy is too low at number 8. Now, we haven't seen Andre yet, so we know Andre is going to be somewhere near the top. And truthfully, Big Boy is somewhere near the top. Now, Andre doesn't put out solo music. So the strength of his rating, wherever it's going to be, his ranking, wherever it's going to be, is off of his work with Outkast. And Big Boy's an Outkast too. And we can largely say the same thing about this. Now, Big Boy has a much more robust solo career than Andre does. I don't know how many of those solo joints were, super chart topping influential. I'm not saying that they weren't, but being a part of Outkast is what carried him to this spot. I think this is low. I think this is really low. I think this is a good 4 spots low for Big Boy, considering he's part of Outkast. Right? He's incredible. He's one of the best MCs of all time. So to be number 8 in his city feels low to me. But I get it. 7, Ludacris. Feels about right. I would put Ludacris 5 to 7. I'd put Ludacris 5 to 7. I think this is about right. Where Ludacris loses to me is, one, I think that he has more of a freestyle style overall. Now, he did have an album where he tried to, he's got a couple of songs that have more emotional depth to them. Shout out to Rude Jude, have more emotional depth to them, but he's more of a freestyle type MC to me. And I'm not talking about off the top freestyles. I'm talking about like structured freeform bars, right? And that a lot of times those type of artists they don't necessarily hold up historically as well because they're not tapping into emotions in the same way. Now, I'm not saying he's never done that. By the time I think the one time he did that, he won a Grammy for Album of the Year, right? But 5 to 7 feels about right for Ludacris to me. He's one of my favorite rappers, period. And if you're in a cypher or if you're on a track and Ludacris is on that track, you got problems. You got problems. 6, Young Thug. I get it. I think Young Thug is one of those waves. He's incredibly influential. I get it for this list. And I can't knock Young Thug. I mean, he's been consistent musically. I personally like when I look at like Young Thug or Ludacris, for example, or 2 Chainz or Killer Mike, for example, a lot of those come down to just preference over each other. Like I prefer 2 Chainz and Killer Mike more than I prefer Young Thug, but I get why Young Thug's at number 6. 5, Jeezy. Okay. Another huge wave. You can't discount the Snowman, all of his contributions to hip hop, all of the way he elevated Atlanta. Like him, Gucci, and T.I. in the 2000s, they were the ones that took Atlanta to the next level, to the next phase, right? So I get it. Gucci Mane, number 4. Now, this is what I'm saying when I think Big Boy should be top 4, right? Because yes, Gucci, yes. Jeezy, they got the waves. Yes, Thug got the wave. Big Boy, Big Boy is a categorically better rapper than any of these, than Young Thug, Jeezy, and Gucci, categorically. And he's part of Outkast, so his wave is the wave. It's the primary wave of Atlanta. I think Big Boy should be in the top 4 because of that. Now, I understand where they're going with. They got Lil Nas X at 50. I don't know if I think of that dude as a rapper at all. To me, Big Boy should be top 4. And this isn't a takeaway from Jeezy and Gucci and what they did. It's just that to me, Big Boy has more influence than these two guys, and he's a better rapper. But I understand where this list is coming from. 3 T.I., this is where I think he should be. T.I. to me is either 2 or 3. He's either 2 or 3 because this is where the trap comes from. I know people like to debate who created trap music. It was T.I. Now, if you're talking about who is teaching you how to cook up that work, sure, that's probably Gucci or Jay-Z in a different kind of way. But trap music as a thing people started thinking about is T.I. Outkast made references to the word trap or to being in the trap, but T.I. is the one that came out and repped the trap, right? So T.I., and he's an incredible lyricist. I always felt like the Baby was the next T.I. He's a Southern rapper who has a knack for finding himself in conflict, who's incredible on the microphone, and is always rapping about being the best. And that's what I respect about T.I. He was rapping about being the best rapper. And T.I.'s got bars for days. So this feels right to me. 2 got to be Future. Yep, 2. Another Dungeon Family one. This is why I look at, okay, Outkast, Big Boy should be top 4, but I don't have a much higher than that because I look at what T.I. did and then also Future. And Future's out the Dungeon Family as well. You know what I mean? And you know, Future he's ran music since 2012, since whenever Pluto dropped. Like he really hasn't had a fall off either. Wildly influential. This feels about right to me. And of course, 3 Stacks is number 1. Now, does 3 Stacks need to be dropped down because he's coming up with all these weird and wacky reasons to does he accidentally finds himself deriding guys who still rap that are his age? I wouldn't say that. He's still incredible. Andre's number 1. But let me know what you guys think about this list. I'm gonna share one more reaction to this list. Killer Mike, he did an interview with Complex, and they asked him his reactions to the list. Let's see what he says.
For top 50 Atlanta rappers of all time list.
Yeah.
In your thoughts, who would you say is the number 1 Atlanta rapper?
I don't know who's the number 1 Atlanta rapper. I know Outkast and Organized Noise changed the trajectory. I know Criss Cross and Jermaine Dupri and what they did broke the ceiling open for us.
That is an interesting thing. Criss Cross and Jermaine Dupri broke the ceiling open for us. I'm very interested in why he describes it that way, because right, let's try this. Let's see Criss Cross. Let's see what Criss Cross first album comes out, right? Because don't get me wrong, Criss Cross, I missed the bus. Like he was speaking to me. They were speaking to me, my generation, right? But Totally Crossed Out comes out in 1992. And which became the first rap song to top the Billboard Hot 100, right? So jump. So I guess that breaks the ceiling open. That's March 31st, 1992, right? There's another group called Arrested Development, and they're from Atlanta. You're talking Speech. I've done a piece on Arrested Development. They had Tennessee. They had People Every Day. You know, huge album. You know, 3 years, 5 months, and 2 days in the life of 4 times platinum. You know what I mean? They won the Grammy for, no, the Grammy for Best New Artist, the first rap group. Truthfully, I'd say is probably still the only rap group, depending on how you look at Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, to win Album of the Year or Best New Artist at the Grammys. So this came out in March 1992. When did Criss Cross come out? March 31st. It's a week later. A week later. They literally came out at the same time. The same time. Now, maybe Arrested Development doesn't capture and reflect Atlanta, that a particular segment of Atlanta culture in the same way. But this is a group from Atlanta, #1 album, 4 times platinum, Grammy Best New Artist. And Killer Mike says that Chris Cross is the one that broke the ceiling open for him. So I don't know. I would love to get more information on that. I might have to reach out to Killer Mike or Speech, or Speech about this to see what their perspective is on it. Obviously, these are 2 pivotal groups in Atlanta rap history. I just think it's very interesting that Chris Cross and Jermaine Dupri got that credit in that reaction from Killer Mike, who's a really thoughtful dude. And nowhere on that list did I see Arrested Development or Speech. Right, so let's see what the rest of Killer Mike's got to say.
I think Atlanta is a phoenix. Our logo is a phoenix, and every 2-3 years we burn ourselves down, and then we come up with something, a new creation to rise out of those ashes. So I'll let you guys argue over who's #1, but I'll tell you this, stylistically, you've never seen an Atlanta rapper that's mastered as many styles as me. You've never seen an Atlanta rapper who can rap with Black Thought on Monday, rap with Bone Crusher on Tuesday, get on there with Freddie Gibbs on Wednesday, pop up next to whoever your favorite rappers is on a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, and show up and show out every single time.
I hope we respect you with the place that we.
I think Andre could do them things at one point in time. He just doesn't want to do them anymore. I'm not taking this away from Killer Mike, but Andre is another rapper that can do those things.
Put you on. I'm going to tell you in a second, but first I'm going to give you our top 5. #1, we have Andre 3000.
You can't have Andre without Big Boy, so I don't accept that. I refute any list that breaks Outkast up. I think it's a list after that. Okay. So I hope you guys do better than this.
#2 is Future.
Man, gotta give love to Clue.
You can make that point, but there's no groups. They're not ranking groups. They're not ranking groups. So I get what he's saying. But this was a single rapper list, so.
It's one of the illest ever.
#3 is Tip, T.I.
Man, Tip is amazing. He started what the genre that's known as.
#4 is Gucci Mane.
Man, shouts out to WAP, man. He gave so many people a chance, that trap style and evolving into what it is.
And #5 is Jeezy.
I knew that was gonna be so. Jeezy's absolutely amazing in the sound that he brought. I'd also like to say, man, there's some young rappers that, while y'all arguing over, who has done what, I like people to pay attention to JID. 100%. I like people to pay attention to Belly Gang Cushington. I like people to pay attention to Kenny Mason.
We ranked you #14.
I mean, it's higher than I expected. I've been disrespected on past lists by not making them at all. But man, whoever the 13th in front of me is, you put them on the track with me, it's gonna be dangerous. I ain't never took no L to Andre 3000 on those songs.
Yeah, scientists, engineers, that you guys were pretty.
No, I ain't never took no L. That's my dog, but I ain't took no L.
I like that. I like that confidence. I ain't took no L. He ain't take no L, but I don't know if he took a W. That scientists, engineers verse is crazy. But Killer Mike's one of the few people that can say that. Him and Big Boy, they're probably the only 2 people that can say that. I mean, Big Boy's taking some L's, but Dre's taking some L's to Big Boy too. You know what I mean? I thought this was a really dope conversation piece. I think this list is more of an influential list than it is a best list. That's what it looks like to me. I think there's people who had more influence and less lyrical skill that ended up higher ranked on this list than their skills alone would dictate. But that's the best part about lists, is like talking about them, debating about them, seeing what's up, seeing where they go. Let me know what you guys think about this. Who do you think should be #1? Where should Sci-Hi the Prince rank? Who's missing? And more than anything else, is this the best representation of the 50 best artists from Atlanta in your opinion? Let me know in the comments section. My name is Justin Hunt. Like, subscribe to the channel, follow at The Company Man on everything. It's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping. Systematical culture views, it's radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dapping it. Light through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, dog, you don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.